I really am. I'm looking forward to teeing with Jack Nicklaus in the morning. And I'm pumping a lot of iron. And I said to Jack, Jack, you outdrove me for 30 years. Now listen, when you hit your drive this year, mine's going to go by you so quickly, it's going to suck yours on another 10 yards. And I said, take it like a man, because I had to suffer with that for 30 years. But it's a great thing, opening the golf course, going to the dinner, seeing young guys like yourself at the dinner, watching you. And it's also going to be fascinating to see where places, I mean, the third green, DeChambeau is going to drive right over that green, right over. I mean,
you're probably
I hope he catches it well on the first tee, and I hope there's a little wind behind him, and I hope the ground's firm, because it's going to give a it's going to come down with ice on it.
That's exactly right. You don't want to go over the first green, but I don't think it'd be that bad if you were over the first green in the first shot.
You can always put it back somewhere.
That's right. Amen. It's going to be amazing. I love that Thursday morning when you and Mr. Nicklaus are on the first tee. That ceremonial shot special. I mean, that's got to be a special, just, whatever it is, 5 minutes. But man, it seems like it's an eternity. It's amazing. I witnessed, you were in Southern Missouri with Mr. Nicklaus, and he was asking you about his golf swing. You had your PXG driver out there, and you were smacking it.
Yeah.
Jack's like, you're hitting it perfect every time, but you were trying to turn more, and you were trying to, like, what am I doing? What do I need to do? And you're probably one of the best drivers of the golf ball, and Mr. Nicklaus of all time, certainly. And it was interesting because he was talking about some of his mechanics and his feelings, and it seems like things just they don't change in that regard. I mean, there's some subtleties, but to turn behind the golf ball and get proper lift with your arms and your spine and everything, that still holds true.
Yeah, but there's still the most important thing, if you can rotate through the ball with speed. That's why every sport is in the core, and the weakest part of your body are your arms. So you've got to learn to use that core. And I was very lucky to be around Ben Hogan. My goodness me, he didn't say much, but he said a few things to me that really helped me a lot in my life. And he knew, I've met a lot of people in my life that know the swing from A to maybe W or Y, but Hogan was the only man I met that knew the swing from A to Z. And he mentioned some things to me that I listened to, but they sounded like hieroglyphics as a young man. And then at 70, I made some changes. Wow. And I mean, I couldn't believe the changes even at 70. As a man said, this game is the most appropriate game of all sports. There's no sport where it takes 1 second to take place and there have been millions of words written on it.
Yeah. So true. So true.
But what's fascinated me is the number of players that won major championships and virtually woke up and couldn't play anymore. There are 10 of them.
Yeah.
And so what happens, they have this natural ability to play well. I mean, let's take Tiger Woods. We all pull for Tiger Woods to do well, because when he does well, it helps all of us and he moves the needle. But here's a guy who wins the US Open by 15 shots, not 5, 15. And the next week he's having a lesson. And then the following week he's having another lesson from a guy. And he never wins another major for 11 years. Now, had he not, this game is full of ifs. If he never had another lesson, he would have won 20 majors. We would have seen things. So what a big, big mistake. And I've seen so many of the players, I could name 8 of them right now, who won majors and couldn't play a game. I mean, they go along and they win the major and then they change their swing. I mean, you've got to go with you see, everybody's got a certain gene in their swing, a certain something that is natural to them. And when you change that, you change the whole structure of your swing. And there's so many players today that just change their swing. And why? Success breeds success. Don't put a spoke in the wheel. And that's what happened.
Amen. I greatly appreciate that, because, I've been with my coach since 1999, 21 years. And the only way that I'm not going to be with him is if he fires me. And I don't think that's going to happen. But Mike Bender and I are the best of friends and confidants, and I trust him implicitly with the golf swing. And you bring on Mr. Hogan. He is basically the model for how Mike teaches to some degree. I mean, Ben seemed to, from my eyes, I mean, granted, I've read his books and looked at his videos and that kind of thing. It's almost like you put a golf club in an individual's hand and you take the physics and the geometry of the golf club properly, you get Mr. Hogan's swing, at least from my view. I mean, that's how I see it. So he's a model when it comes to the ball striking. And I know he was kind of rough around the edges, but you know what, a man that endured so much through the game, obviously with the car accident and then rebounding from that, which is amazing. But then also a man, that I can fully say has provided me a lot, because obviously the golf swing, but then second, he's the first one to get that dinner going on Tuesday nights. Am I right?
Exactly. He was the instigator. And but what I've always loved about your swing is the way, you see, I've always believed whatever your swing is, whether it's Jim Furyk, whether it's Wolf, or whoever it may be that have unusual swings, there's one good thing they all do, and that's what you do. You rotate through that ball with speed. You can't be decelerating when you're under pressure. And always with you, I see that club shoot through the ball. It's what we call an uninterrupted flow of motion through the ball. A lot of players are there, and then you see that. It's got to be shoot, like a karate blow, shoot through the brick. I saw these little Japanese guys breaking a brick with their fist, and they always said, through the brick.
Sure.
Through the brick.
Yeah.
And Hogan, I tell you something, Hogan was absolutely amazing, but I'll tell you another lovely Hogan story. Arnold Palmer did not like Ben Hogan at all. And I don't think Ben Hogan did not like Arnold Palmer that much. We're at a dinner in New York, and anyway, Arnold starts talking about the swing. And Arnold was a very strong man physically, but very humble. And Hogan said, Arnold's talking about the swing, and Hogan said, in his words, well, what do you know about the swing with your lousy swing? Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
I thought, I don't know what's going to happen. Arnold never, to his credit, never moved a single bit of hatred in his body or his eyes or anything. He just sort of took it. And they were playing, Hogan and Jackie Burke were playing Dow Finsterwald at Augusta, and Hogan and Palmer was playing with Finsterwald. They got into the dining room first, and then Hogan walked in afterwards after playing with them for 18 holes and sat at another table. And Arnold heard Hogan say, to Jackie, how did this man Palmer get into this tournament? With that swing he's got. Who do you think won that week? Arnold Palmer.